Quitting smoking weed starts with asking yourself a simple question. And I find that many times through my personal experience and working with others helping them quit, that they're asking the wrong question. And that question is, what if quitting smoking weed turns out to be the best decision that you've ever made for yourself? I want you to ask yourself, what if all the positive things that you expect to happen after you quit smoking weed actually start to come true? In today's video, we're going to discuss how to cultivate that mindset when it comes to recovering from a cannabis substance use disorder or a cannabis addiction. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name's Dr. Frank. I'm the founder of Addiction Mindset Recovery Coaching Programs, and I have the sole goal of making sobriety accessible to everyone after personally having struggled with addiction for several years of my life. If you wind up enjoying the content, be sure to check out the pinned comment and the links in the video description for more free and paid Addiction Mindset Recovery Coaching Program resources. A lot of times people will go into quitting weed from a place of fear. And I think the question that's often asked is, what if this doesn't work? What if my life is worse without cannabis? What if I can't socialize? What if I get withdrawals? What if? And a lot of that what if tends to be rooted in a very, very negative mindset. And I would argue that that negative headspace is cultivated from years of addiction and what we'll refer to as, Jack Trimpey used to say, that addicted voice in the brain. So here you are thinking about quitting smoking weed, it's day one, and all of a sudden this overwhelming amount of fear sets in. What if this? What if that goes wrong? How am I going to manage this? How am I going to cope with that? And we wind up in a really, really, really negative headspace. That negative headspace creates a lot of fear. And then if you've struggled with addiction before, how are you likely to cope with that fear? By consuming more of the drug. And then we just wind up trapped in this cycle of endless use, endless addiction. So I want you to rephrase that question to yourself if you're trying to quit smoking weed and you're having a hard time. Instead of worrying about all the potential negatives that you may or may not face in sobriety, start asking yourself, what if all these positive things that I expect to happen from quitting weed actually start to happen? What if my relationships improve? What if my physical health improves? What if I have more money in my bank account? What if I have more motivation? What if I have more energy? Those are the questions. What if this turns out to be the best decision that I have ever made for myself? If you can start from that place, if you can start from that question, you're going to feel a lot less overwhelmed, a lot more motivated, and a lot more determined in your decision to see sobriety from cannabis through. Now, we have to ask ourselves, where does that fear-based thinking come from? And I'll hit you with this. I've said it before on my channel. One of my favorite quotes regarding fear: fear is often nothing more than a bunch of false expectations appearing real. Things that we worry about happening that either haven't happened or that aren't going to happen. That's what fear is. But where does that come from? I think it can come from the withdrawals. A lot of people will quit weed, and unfortunately they may have developed a physical dependence to cannabis. So when they stop using it, they get cravings, they get insomnia, they get irritability, they get stomach problems, all things that I struggled with when I quit. And you quit for a few days, you get these withdrawal symptoms. The withdrawals are very overwhelming in some cases. And then the person is like, see, I knew it. What if these bad things happened? And now there's bad things happening to me because I'm going through withdrawal. And then they wind up going back to using the substance. Now, we can build on that because if they've done this multiple times where they quit and then stop, quit and then stop, quit and then start up using again, quit and then start up using again, they're basing that initial question they're asking themselves on past experiences. And what I mean by that is this: if I was smoking a lot of weed and then I quit and then I got really bad withdrawals and then I went to smoking weed again, when I go to quit again, I'm not going to be saying, what if all these good things happen? I'm going to be saying, oh my gosh, what if I get insomnia again? What if my stomach hurts again? What if I get irritable again? And now I'm taking a previous negative experience that I had quitting cannabis, and I'm expecting that to be the same experience I'm going to have again on my second, third, fourth, 100th quit attempt. when I'm trying to stop consuming. And those previous negative experiences that were rooted in fear and rooted in some extent reality, right? Withdrawals are a reality, further feed that negative thought pattern of what if everything goes wrong? What if quitting is a terrible decision and nothing works out for me? Now, I think you're much better positioning this from a place of what if everything goes great? What if I get through those initial withdrawals, and what if I have more energy? What if I have more motivation? What if I have more focus? What if my performance in my business or my career actually excels and doesn't decline? This is how we should frame quitting any substance. So many people go into quitting weed or quitting drugs viewing that they're giving something up. And when we see it as that we're giving something up, when we see it as that there's a benefit to continued use of the drug, that there's continued pleasure in drug use, we're going to frame ourselves in our initial quitting process from a very negative place. Because if you're giving something up that you enjoy or that you think there's benefit to, often what I refer to as a perceived benefit, then this whole experience is getting off on a bad note, a negative note. And look, I've taken this mentality from quitting drugs and I've applied this to many aspects of my life. I haven't shared it on the channel, but recently my wife and I, unfortunately, more so my wife obviously, went through a miscarriage. And now we're trying again to have children. And she's saying to me, what if it doesn't work? What if we don't have the baby? What if we can't have more kids? And I say, what if we can? What if everything goes great? What if the child is born and he or she is super healthy and lives a beautiful life? What if everything goes just fine? I think this way in my business is, right? You think you're doing good in entrepreneurship, and then every day new problems come up, new issues come up, and it's so easy to say, what if this all falls apart? What if I made the wrong decision? What if this doesn't work? So I immediately flip it to, what if this does work? What if this winds up becoming the most successful business venture that I've ever gone on? What if everything good that I'm expecting to happen actually starts happening? How amazing would that be? It's literally just rephrasing and reframing how you speak to yourself. And if you practice this throughout your quitting experience with cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, it doesn't matter what the substance is, you can actually start to take this mentality and apply it to other aspects of your life. Now, on the flip side, if you've been practicing quitting from a place of fear, quitting from a place of negativity, what if nothing works out and I quit weed? What if this is a terrible decision, quitting weed? There's a chance that that's creating what I refer to as a subconscious rot in your brain, and that you're actually carrying that mentality over into other aspects of your life. Pause and think to yourself, what other areas of your life are you saying, what if it doesn't work? What if nothing goes my way? What if everything falls apart? What if the risk is too great? Because for me, that subconscious rot that was created from quitting, not quitting, quitting, not quitting. What if everything goes wrong based on past experiences when I would quit and I'd have a hard time? That started to spill into my relationships. It started to spill into my business career. It started to spill into my finances. And that self-sabotaging thought process, it started to fulfill its own prophecy in multiple other aspects of my life. But when I flipped the switch with quitting substances, quitting cannabis, reframing my mindset, it started to dramatically reframe multiple other aspects of my life. My finances, my fitness goals, my relationships, my entrepreneurship goals, and all those things. Now, there's one more catch to this, and I've made another video on this, which I'll link at the end of this video if you decide to follow me into it. It's good to say, what if all these positive things happen? But I think you have to take it a step further and then say, what do I need to do to guarantee these positive outcomes? So if I'm quitting weed and I'm saying, yeah, what if I do have more money? What if I do get in better shape? What if I do have more energy? How awesome would that be? I then have to say, okay, what steps, what actions do I need to take to make sure that all of those really good what ifs actually become my reality? And I've talked about this in my other videos because I say a lot of times people will quit. They'll have these positive expectations, they'll get the right mindset, but then they'll fall short on taking action to turn all those positive outlooks into their current reality. And then a year goes by, nothing changed, and they're like, see, I knew it. What if quitting weed didn't make a difference? What if it didn't improve my life? They're like, see? And then that just reinforces all that negative thoughts, all those negative patterns, and their previous negative experiences that they've had with quitting cannabis. On the contrary, if they were taking actions and they were doing things to create those changes, to make those changes a reality, then they quit for a year and they look back and they say, wow, this was the best damn decision I have ever made for myself. Despite going through some withdrawals, despite going through some initial challenges of sobriety, this was the best thing I ever did for myself, physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, whatever it is you're into. You have to make that expectation become a reality. But for a lot of people, myself included, I wasn't even starting off on a positive note. I was always, what if I quit and I can't live? What if I quit and I can't cope? What if I quit and I can't deal with anything in life? And that's what we want to change. So if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out the links in the pinned comment in the video description to learn more about our free and paid program resources and our supplements that are designed to help you quit using nicotine, cannabis, kick it, crave less chewing gum. I'll see you guys in the pinned comment in the video description.